Hey, this is Ryan at Clovis Star. So I wanted to talk about education and, smart economics when it comes to education. I had a lot of family after I became successful coming after me, when I rose up off living on the streets, when I was a kid. I mean, verifiably, I was a homeless kid for 3 years. And, my family discounted it as something like I would never be anything, so they never worried about me. And then, we didn't get along, but, as long as I wasn't doing very well, we never had a problem. And then when I started doing well, and I got a good job as a robotics engineer, and we lived in a $5 million house on Lake Washington, and we were doing exceedingly well, then they started coming after me and nitpicking everything that I've done wrong in my life, and accusing me mostly of things that have never happened, and blaming me for them not having success and saying, oh, because of you, I don't have this, and because of you, I don't have that. And anyway, I just wanted to give you some advice, especially people that may be family members. But, as far as like getting an education, I didn't really get an education. When I was homeless in Spokane, I went to adult education and trained for my GED, and I got my GED when I was 20. Well, when I was 19, I actually got the certificate when I was 20. And then I got a job, I got multiple jobs, just little lame jobs, and then I got a job with Microsoft. And when I got a job with Microsoft, they told me if I got a degree, they would pay me more, and it was a significant amount of money. And so then I went to college. And in the process of being in college, I found a better job, one that paid more than Microsoft was willing to pay me, and that was without an education. So I dropped out of college and never went back. People talk about college like it's so important. I was making, $75,000 a year with my robotics engineering job, but I was also running a retail store, so we were doing exceedingly well with no college. My wife or me, both of us did not go to college, yet we were doing better than any of our family. There wasn't any of our family doing better than us at that point. And any of them. And, I didn't really care because I disconnected from them. It wasn't like I even told them about it. And then when they tried to reconnect, they come up to my $5 million house on Lake Washington that we were renting. And it was, like my rent was $8,000 a month is what we were paying to the landlord, and some of it was in trade. Some of it I was doing some computer and database work for his retail stores, but the overall trade was $8,000 a month, and that's when my family really started getting jealous and attacking me and trying to tear me down. And before that, when I was not doing well, they didn't really care. They never really came after me all that much. And then as soon as I started doing exceedingly well, they started coming after me and, reminding me I was a high school dropout, and reminding me that I was homeless, and reminding me that I went through bankruptcy, and reminding me of all of the hiccups that I've had in life. And so, as far as me dropping out of college, I looked at it as though, I would have a debt at the end. If I went to college, I would end up at the end of it with debt. But if I didn't go all the way through and didn't have a lot of debt, I would pay it off and not have to have that lingering over me for the rest of my life. And I had planned on having many kids. We only had, one for the first 5 years, but I had been talking Kimberly into having a lot more children. And I wanted, when I met her, I told her I wanted 12. So I didn't want to a bunch of lingering debt. And college would not have helped me. I would have not gotten any further in life had I had college. So by 2013, I paid off all of my college debt and raised a family of 4. By the time I had paid off my college, I had a family of 4. I'd been incarcerated. I had been homeless. I had went through bankruptcy. But I finally made it. I tried and tried and tried everything I could until I succeeded. And I failed several times. Everybody does fail. You don't just open the doors to success immediately. You have to try and you have to fail. And you have to learn from your mistakes. But one mistake I can tell you is that if you're going to college and spending 10 years in college, let's say, and you're not going to get a career that pays for that college, then you're going to have that lingering debt for the rest of your life. And I do not recommend doing that. That's the worst thing you can do, is go to college for no reason. You know, college is one of the most expensive things people spend money on in their life. And unless you've got a job in the industry or the field that you're going to be working in, you're going to college for, then don't go to college. I mean, if you're not already in that field, I don't see any reason to go to college, you know, unless you need college to get into that field. But, you know, I've got a family member who's tattooed his hands and his arms and, you know, spent $100,000 on college and will never get a job in his field of study. Will never get he's disqualified himself just by looking like an idiot. And now he's got $100,000 lingering over him for college, and he'll never use it, and he'll always have that debt. So I don't recommend college for everybody. I mean, you know, what's his name from Apple, Steve Jobs, he dropped out of college, and at Stanford, in his commencement speech, he told everybody else to drop out. And I agree with him on that. You know, one of the most wealthy billionaires and most innovative people in the world, most creative and most innovative business people in the world, dropped out of Stanford and told everybody at the commencement speech to do the same. You know, really. And it opens up the doors to creativity. It really does. When you're confined into a box of going to college, and then you have all that lingering debt confining you, it doesn't help. I think it hinders you. When you drop out and you open up your perspective and your horizons, you get a lot more opportunity in life. So I've done extremely well as a high school dropout, and a former incarcerated pot dealer. And after everything was said and done, I became a robotics engineer, and I worked hard. That's all it takes. You know, and everybody talks about the lack of opportunity in the United States. If I can do it, and I'm an idiot, anybody can do it. If an idiot like me can do it, you can do it too. But, you know, you got to think smart. You definitely can't tattoo your body up and, you know, end up with the law chasing you every 5 minutes and, you know, screwing up your path in life. You actually have to walk a straight line. At some point, you have to start getting busy and walking a straight line. So I recommend that to my friends and family. College isn't important. Working hard, trying hard, making mistakes, learning from those mistakes, and getting on the right path. That's what counts. All right, peace.